So the first term we'll be going over today is indemnity. I think in any fairly sophisticated contract between business owners or entrepreneurs, you'd be hard-pressed to not find indemnity in the contract terms. However, this section, just by way of observation on my end, is not a section that usually takes up a huge part of the contract you might be signing. You know, it might be a paragraph tucked in here or there. It's not as visible of a section as confidentiality, for example, or intellectual property, which sometimes can take up multiple pages in and of itself. So that leaves indemnity to be misunderstood. First of all, even in terms of how it's presented, it's this buried term within a contract, which might make one think it's not as important a term. And then on top of it, it's further misunderstood because business owners and entrepreneurs might not take the time to ask or might be nervous about asking clarifying questions about what this term even means. Now, there are different kinds of indemnities, okay? But big picture, indemnity makes for a contractual agreement, which is funny, right? Because it's part of a contract already, but it further makes for an agreement within that contract between the parties involved in that same contract, in which one party agrees to cover the losses or damages that can result from the actions of another party. And you might be wondering, well, is the other party Mr. Moneybags? How come the other party can afford to indemnify, to cover the losses of the, bad partner, so to speak, putting it in very simple terms? That's where insurances are going to come into place, right? In today's world, everybody is insured in contracts, and it's not the case that one party is indemnifying the other and paying out of pocket for damages sustained. So now that we have a big picture understanding of it, what's one example of where we might see an indemnity agreement? There's no shortage of examples. You could see an indemnity, for example, if you're the talent or the brains behind a certain product and you're being recruited by a company to start a venture between yourself and that new company now. Oftentimes we see in these contracts that you as the brains of the operation are going to be indemnified by that company, just as a sign of respect for all that you bring to the table, okay? There's indemnities if you have a company and you're taking on advisors, for example. It's that sort of the root behind it being that nod of respect, and somebody's already kind of done you a favor by now coming to advise your corporation. So then as a return, you take out a little bit of extra insurance and indemnify them against damages. This part that I'm saying right now is strictly by way of observation from me as Pam Matani, the founder of Graphene Business Law. I'm not saying that, the reason indemnities exist are sort of as the, tip of the hat towards showing respect for the individual or party you've brought on board. But a lot of times we see that parties indemnify other parties as an acknowledgement of the value that the other party might already be bringing to the table. Another indemnity clause that you might come across both in your personal and professional life, a borrower, okay? A borrower can agrees to indemnify the bank when they're borrowing money from that same bank, right? And again, the underlying sort of policy or nuance here being that, well, that bank is doing you a big favor by providing you with access to capital. So you sort of tip your hat and indemnify them and take out insurance, okay? So that's the big picture with indemnity. I hope that clarifies things. When one party is indemnifying the other, they're sort of giving them, in simple terms, a free pass against the damages they might cause. Now, there can be limits to this. So if somebody goes acting way outside of the scope of what the terms of the contract were, for example, that might not be something that's indemnified. So if you're a party to an agreement and that other party and the other party in that same agreement is indemnifying your actions, it is not a free pass in terms of going crazy, but within the regular course of business, like a poor business decision that was reasonable and based off of due diligence and things like that, okay? We have some examples we shared about indemnity, and the big picture being that we're going to be indemnifying the parties' actions as it pertains their interactions with the outside world, right? So something that if you're the party that's being indemnified, if you are wronging another party outside of your outside of the parties in your contract, if you're making a bad financial decision as regards your interaction with the party outside of the contract, the partner you're in business with is saying, okay, I'll indemnify you. And again, they're not Mr. Moneybags doing that out of the goodness of their heart. They're already seeing it as a benefit that you're in business with them, so to speak. And so, to sort of reward that benefit and get into business with you, they'll take out the insurance required to indemnify you. And one thing to also keep in mind is that indemnities need not be indemnities in full. So there can be caps, again, because I've said it 3 times now, the other party you're in business with is not necessarily a Mr. Moneybags. And saying that somebody will get insurance is one thing, but insurance can be really expensive depending on what you're doing, okay? So the other party might only be able to indemnify you 50%, 75%, or in full. But these are things that whenever you get in front of a lawyer, including us here at Graphene Business Law, these videos are educational videos. They're not legal advice, but in being so educational, the point is that when you do get in front of a lawyer, you're able to save so much time and save so much money because you've watched a video like this and you are so much better prepared on how to make best use of that time with that lawyer and ask the right questions. Talk to me about the indemnity in this contract. Who is indemnifying who, for what amount, and how do we fulfill that indemnity on our end if you're the party that's being indemnified, and if you're the party that's indemnifying the other party, and if you're the party that's being indemnified, well, what kind of actions are being covered here? If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Pam Matani, and I'm a business lawyer of many years and the founder here at Graphene Business Law, a law firm offering business law services to entrepreneurs and business owners, and serving business owners and entrepreneurs virtually and throughout the province of Ontario, Canada. If you're new to our YouTube channel, you're going to want to like this video, show your support, and of course, click subscribe. We post content here on YouTube multiple times a week that is free educational content for business owners and entrepreneurs. And I'm going to say it, I don't know any other lawyer doing the same. And if you find them, tag them down below, because I'd love to know who else is pumping out this much content for your benefit. Now, the next term I want to talk about, only because it's becoming so popular and can have major impact on the outcome of a dispute pertaining to your contract, is arbitration terms. Now, what is arbitration? Arbitration is a process whereby there is a dispute between the parties of the agreement that you're a part of, so yourself and the other party, and this dispute is submitted, instead of suing each other in court, it's submitted to an arbitrator. Who are arbitrators? I've personally never known an arbitrator that was not a lawyer as well. Some arbitrators can be exceptionally skilled. Some of them include retired judges. However, some arbitrators are not very experienced at all. These are just details to look out for when you're looking for an arbitrator. What does an arbitration clause look like? Often you'll see that arbitration clauses include details about who will choose the arbitrator. If you're a small business owner or entrepreneur watching this video, and if you are the average small business owner or entrepreneur watching this video, there is a chance that you are entering into agreements with parties larger, more sophisticated, and better well off than yourself in order to continue and grow your business. These parties might have arbitration clauses that they wish to have you sign that are advantageous to them. For example, including terms such as the other party being the one that chooses the arbitrator. If a party is wealthier than they might be inclined to pay no matter what it takes to select an arbitrator that they think will most likely decide in their favor. So that's something to think about, because the parties in your agreement are still human beings with self-interest as the #1 motive. I want to be very careful here. I'm not saying, and I would not say, that some parties are tipping arbitrators off to decide in their favor. That's not what I meant. What I meant is that, for example, if you are in business with somebody in the oil and gas industry, okay, but you're a more environmentally friendly party, the other party that's in the oil and gas might be looking for an arbitrator whose decision results indicate that they are very much in favor of oil and gas companies, right? So their roster of decisions will lead the party you're in business with, being the oil and gas party, to infer that if they've been in favor of oil and gas companies every single time, they will be in favor of oil and gas companies in an arbitration matter between yourself as the environmentally friendly party and the oil and gas business you've entered into business with. That there's a slightly higher chance that that arbitrator will understand your partners or your, the other member of your contract's interest a little bit better than yours. Now, does that guarantee that they'll decide in the other party's favor? Not necessarily, but is it a better chance than them hiring an arbitrator whose Facebook photo is a sign that says down with oil and gas? Yeah, it's certainly a better chance. Other terms you're going to see in the arbitration clauses include, time periods as to when arbitration should take place, might include location where arbitration will take place. So if you're contracting with a party that's not from the same jurisdiction as you, whether that be city, province, or state, or of course even country in today's ever so global economy. One important thing to know about arbitration is that on its face, arbitration is binding, and that can be a major disadvantage for you if you feel that you are the small guy in a contract that you're signing, okay? While it may be possible to appeal an arbitrator's decision, that process of doing so in some ways kind of takes away the entire benefit of hiring an arbitrator in the first place, which would be faster results, you and the party that you've gotten in trouble with getting in front of a decision maker more quickly and more efficiently. If now you have to appeal the whole thing all over again. Okay, so be very wary of what arbitration sections imply for you, especially, again, if you're the smaller guy within a party. Here at Graphene Business Law, it goes without saying, we are skilled at drafting arbitration clauses and, of course, as we discussed earlier in this video, indemnity clauses as well. So if you ever need any help with those two clauses that we've covered in this video, do let us know. Our contact is linked in the description box down below. If you have any comments or experiences you've acquired firsthand as pertains to either good or bad experiences with any of these terms, indemnity or arbitration, please feel free to sound off down below. We do have a little bit of a community here at Graphene Business Law, and commentary and social support of each other is one lovely way to keep growing that community. Hopefully next time you're Googling what does indemnity really mean, or what does arbitration really mean, or you're Googling, trying to decipher complicated contract terms, this video can pop up and be of help to you in running your business. I'll end the video there. Give this video a big thumbs up, and please click on the subscribe button down below. It helps more than you know, and it certainly helps the ominous almighty YouTube algorithm so very much. So thank you for watching, and if you're a business owner or entrepreneur in the province of Ontario looking for legal services and legal advice, you can visit our website, graphenebusinesslaw.ca, find ways to contact us there and get in touch. And of course, send us an email at info@graphenebusinesslaw.ca. Thank you for watching.